warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I hope you are doing good today. We are from English Education Class B Group 8. My name is Muhammad Wahyu.
I am Zumra Makfera Ruslan.
I'm Anissa Mujahida Tahir.
I'm Aida Fitra.
And today we want to explain about the 8th material
Titled Characteristics of a Good EFL Teacher based in Omani EFL Teacher and Student Perspective.
This material will be divided into 5 parts, and those are introduction,
Methods,
Result.
discussion and conclusion. Okay, without any further ado, let's go to the first part, introduction.
Okay, the first material will be presented by me. Introduction.
The topic of the factors influencing the effectiveness of teaching has long attracted the attention of English as a foreign language researchers. The effectiveness of teacher is not limited to teacher characteristics by a particular set of criteria. It is also about employing teaching practices that are valued by and contribute to the wider community in which the teaching takes place. The need to identify these characteristics stems from a commonly held perspective that awareness of them can help teachers identify their students' needs and expectations and hence work on meeting them. Knowing these characteristics can help teachers improve their pedagogical practices by allowing them to enhance their good characteristics or those that are most valued by their students and find ways to overcome those that are less valued or considered inappropriate for a specific teaching context. Good teacher, including teacher of EFL or English as a second language, share many similar characteristics regardless of their subject area.
The next material is good teacher characteristics, definitions, and categories.
Teaching characteristics have therefore been approached differently by various researchers and educators in the field. For some, good teacher qualities are represented in the command of the subject area, appropriate teaching methods, and different teaching-related skills, whereas others highlight personal characteristics including charisma that teachers possess, their compassion, humor, innovation, and honesty. According to Brosh, 1996, effective EFL teachers are those who focus on comprehension, are in command of the language, prepare interesting lessons, help students to be independent, and deal with students fairly. Witcher, 2003, divided these characteristics into 3 main categories: instructional competence, personality, and teacher-student relationship.
Next material is factors influencing perception of good teacher characteristics. According to Zhang and Watkins, 2007, perception of good teaching may be influenced by a variety of factors including culture, gender, subject area, school level, and the curriculum used. Okay, we go to the next material, method. In this material, there are research questions, sample, and the questionnaire. Okay, we go to the research questions. There are 3 research questions. The first question, what are the characteristics of good EFL teachers according to Omani high school students? The second question, what are the characteristics of a good EFL teacher according to Omani EFL teachers? And the last question, are there differences and similarities in students' and teachers' perception of the characteristics of good EFL teachers? Next, we go to the sample. The study conducted in academic year 2012 and 2013 covered Omani EFL teachers and students within Oman. 233 EFL teachers and 171 students. From 171 students participants, 127 were female, while only 44 male students took part. The questionnaire were in Arabic and distributed in the class. Okay, we go to the questionnaire.
Teacher characteristics in the questionnaire are grouped into 7 categories. Those are content knowledge about teaching and learning, pedagogical knowledge about teaching and learning, knowledge about oneself general characteristics, knowledge about oneself affective variables, knowledge about oneself professional development, knowledge about students, and knowledge about classroom management. And the next material will be presented by Zumklah Makfirlah Ruslan.
Okay, so next is the result. The first is questionnaire reliability. So the Cronbach's alpha coefficients indicate that 6 of the 7 categories reported good alpha levels above 70, while the final group of knowledge about oneself general characteristic reported an acceptable Cronbach's alpha of 69. So questionnaire category alpha levels are content knowledge about teaching and learning 75, pedagogical knowledge about teaching and learning 93, knowledge about oneself general characteristics 69, knowledge about oneself affective variables 88, knowledge about oneself professional development 88, knowledge about students 83, and knowledge about classroom management 70. Okay, next is the student results. So as you can see on the table, Table 1 reports student questionnaire means for the 7 categories. Each of the 7 categories received a mean between 3.18 and 3.47, thereby suggesting that students believe each category was important for their teachers. The 2 categories that received the highest means were knowledge about oneself general characteristics, which received means of 3.47, and knowledge about oneself affective variables, which received means of 3.44. Despite the relatively high levels of self-awareness, student participants ascribed to the areas of general characteristics and affective variables. The category of knowledge about oneself professional development, which received mean of 3.18, recorded the lowest mean. Knowledge about students, which received mean of 3.37, received the third highest mean among the 7 categories, followed by 2 categories related to teacher knowledge about teaching and learning, pedagogical knowledge about teaching and learning, which received mean of 3.26, closely related to these areas. Knowledge about classroom management received the second lowest mean of 3.25. Though this is an area that students participants still believed to be important for their instructors. Next, I'm going to deliver the items that received the highest mean of each questionnaire category of student results. So the first category is knowledge about oneself general characteristics, which received means of 3.37, and there are 4 items in this category. The 2 items that received the highest means were speak audibly and clearly and be prepared for class. And the second category is knowledge about oneself affective variables, which received means of 3.44, and there are 15 items in this category, and all items received means above 3.0. The 3 items that received the highest means related to the worth toward and equal treatment of students. Those were treat students equally, treat students fairly, and care about all students. And the third is knowledge about students, which received means of 3.27, and there are 8 items in this category, and all items received means above 3.0. And the items that received the highest mean is have good records with pupils, which is a finding that related to the importance of caring about learners. And the fourth category is pedagogical knowledge about teaching and learning, which received means of 3 point and 29, and there are 19 items in this category, and only 2 items that received the highest means. Those were explain lessons clearly and confidently, and be able to explain unfamiliar concepts in various ways. And the fifth category is content knowledge about teaching and learning, which received means of 3.26, and there are 9 items in this category. The 2 items that received the highest means were have a high level of English and be able to communicate well in English. And the 6th category is knowledge about classroom management, which received means of 3.25, and there are only 2 items in this category which were considered important by participants or by students. Those were be able to manage the classroom properly and have effective classroom management skills. And the last is knowledge about oneself, professional development, which received 3.80, and there are 8 items in this category. And the item that received the highest mean is have a positive attitude towards change and innovation. Okay, next is teacher results. So as you can see on the table 2 contains questionnaire category means for teacher participants. Again, like the student participants, all category means fell within a range that suggested teachers believed each of these categories of teacher characteristics to be important. The questionnaire category that recorded the highest mean was knowledge about oneself general characteristics, which received mean of 3.73, while knowledge about classroom management received mean of 3.70, and knowledge about oneself affective variables received mean of 3.69, received the next highest means. Although knowledge about oneself professional development recorded the lowest category mean for student participants, here it received a mean of 3.55, which placed it as the second lowest category. With content knowledge about teaching and learning, received mean of 3.48, receiving the lowest teacher mean overall, even though it was still considered to be important. The remaining 2 questionnaire categories were knowledge about students, received mean of 3.60, and pedagogical knowledge about teaching and learning, received mean of 3.56. Next, I am going to deliver the items that received the highest means of each questionnaire category and teacher results. The first category is knowledge about oneself, general characteristics, which received means of 3.73, and there are 4 items in this category, and 2 items that received the highest means were be prepared for class and speak audibly and clearly. The second category is knowledge about classroom management, which received means of 3.70, and there are 2 items in this category which were considered to be important by participants. Those were able to manage the classroom properly and have effective classroom management skills. And the third is knowledge about oneself, effective variables, which received means of 3.69, and there are 15 items in this category. And the item that received the highest mean is be confident and have self-control. And the fourth category is knowledge about students, which received mean of 3.60, and there are 8 items in this category, and all items received means above 3.0. And the items that received the highest mean is able to assess students' strengths and weaknesses. And the fifth category is pedagogical knowledge about teaching and learning, which received mean of 3.56, and there are 19 items in this category, and all items received means above 3.0, and the item received the highest mean is explain lessons clearly and confidently. And the sixth is knowledge about oneself, professional developing, which received means of 3.55, and there are two items that received the highest mean in this category, and those were care about developing professionally and be ready to learn about new methods and teaching strategies. And the last category is content knowledge about teaching and learning, which received means of 3.48, and there are 9 items in this category, and the item that received the highest mean is the teacher be able to communicate well in English.
And now we are going to Table 3, Student and Teacher Questionnaire Group Means. There are 7 questionnaire groups, and those are Group 1, Content Knowledge about Teaching and Learning, Group 2, Pedagogical Knowledge about Teaching and Learning, Group 3, Knowledge about Oneself General Characteristic, Group 4, Knowledge about Oneself Affective Variables, and then next Group 5, Knowledge about Oneself Professional Development, and then Group 6, Knowledge about Students, and then the last, Knowledge about Classroom Management. And now we're going to Table 4, Independent t-test for teacher and student participants on questionnaire groups. As we can see here in the table, the points they consider about are the same as Table 3. For all questionnaire groups, significant differences exist between student and teacher participants, with teacher participants reporting significantly higher group means than student. This suggests that English teachers in Oman consider each of the 7 groups featured in the questionnaire to be more important than the students, even though students do still consider them to be important. This finding may be due to a number of reasons, including the greater familiarity teacher participants have with the demands of the teaching profession itself compared with students who could be considered to be consumers of the education services the teacher and institutions provide. It could be, too, that students have expressed any general dissatisfaction they have with their English teachers and or classes by offering slightly more negative scores on the questionnaire, a central tendency bias from student participants, or even social desirability bias by teacher participants. However, with these cautions in mind, these findings suggest that teachers and students both agree that all questionnaire groups are important, even though teachers believe them to be significantly more important characteristic for English teachers to have. And now, Table 5, Student and Teacher Items with Highest Means. Table 5 indicates that 6 of the 10 items that received the highest means from student and teacher participants were the same. Perhaps not surprisingly, 3 of these items, like speak audibly and clearly, explain lessons clearly and confidently, and be able to communicate well in English, are related to high levels of communicative ability in the English language. Another 2 items that student and teacher participants believed to be the most important were related to the fair and equal treatment of learners. These were treat students fairly and treat students equally. The final item that both student and teacher participants assigned one of the 10 highest means to was be enthusiastic about teaching. For Table 6, student and teachers items with lowest means. Table 6 features the 10 items that received the lowest means from student and teacher participants. The table again features a large degree of overlap between the teacher characteristic that students and teachers believe to be the least important from the questionnaire, with both groups of participants having 6 of the 10 items in common. Two of these items, like be aware of Western cultures and be familiar with the social and cultural background of the learners, relate to the importance of being aware of the first language cultures and the cultures associated with English language in the classroom. Moreover, another two items that respondents believed to be among the least important were related to the use of multimedia in the classroom. These were use audiovisual aids or multimedia in teaching and use the latest technology in teaching. To this list, student participants added select appropriate supplementary materials, though this item didn't appear in the teacher's list of the 10 least important characteristics. Of the final two items that both students and teachers believe
a great lowest overall mean from the student participants was related to teachers' professional development. In particular, students, though it be relatively unimportant for their English teachers to participate in professional development events and to actively seek opportunities to develop new skills, even though somewhat contradictorily. They nonetheless expected them to keep abreast of the latest developments in ELT. This finding may be indicative of a lack of awareness among at least some students about the importance of continued professional development opportunities for their instructors, perhaps to a limited understanding of the demands of the teaching profession. Despite a number of limitations such as potential influence of self-selection and gender biases and the dominance of both teacher and student samples by participants from the Batina South Governorate, this investigation nonetheless suggests that discrepancies between student and teacher perceptions of the characteristics of a good EFL instructor in the Omani school context are not a major issue of a concern, and that the general overlap between participants about the relative importance of teachers' characteristics will contribute to, rather than detract from improving learners' English language skills. Okay everyone, that's all from us. We really hope that you guys can understand and get knowledge by watching our videos.
We are really sorry if there are mistakes.
Don't forget to support us by giving like, comment, and subscribe to this channel as well.
Thank you for watching. Please stay healthy and see you in another chance.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.